I'm so tired of these late night talks, saying things that we don't mean, that we regret in the morning. Yeah, I just wish we could open up, be a little more honest. This is getting exhausting. Yeah, can't do one more night of having to sleep on the sofa. I just wanna figure it out now before it's over. I don't wanna pack my things and be ready to let you go, to let you go. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it can't wait, maybe it's time, maybe we're doomed. I try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. I don't know why it's so damn hard being there for each other and showing you my true colors. Yeah, I don't know why it's difficult. I'm trying to make amends, but it doesn't seem to help. No, can't do one more night of having to sleep on the sofa. I just wanna figure it out now before it's over. I don't wanna pack my things and be ready to let you go, to let you go. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it can't wait, maybe it's time, maybe we're doomed. I try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Can't do one more night of having to sleep on the sofa. I just wanna figure it out now before it's over. I don't wanna pack my things and be ready to let you go, to let you go. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it can't wait, maybe it's time, maybe we're doomed. Try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late.
Some fun. so tired of living life in gray, babe. And you deserve to see the world from the other. So tell me, baby, where would you like to go? Maybe we'll drive from coast to coast, only to where we love the most. I'm taking you to paradise, paradise. You know where we're going tonight, going tonight. Paradise, paradise. I'm taking you to paradise, paradise. I don't even care about the price, care about the price, yeah. Paradise, paradise. I'm taking you. Come and take a seat next to me, babe. Let this pretty view take your breath away. Baby, we deserve a break from our old ways. Anywhere's home when you're with me. Come and take a seat next to me, babe. Let this pretty view take your breath away. Baby, we deserve a break from our old ways. Cause I'm taking you to paradise, paradise. You know where we're going tonight, going tonight. Paradise, paradise. I'm taking you to paradise, paradise. I don't even care about the price, care about the price, yeah. Paradise, paradise. I'm taking you, paradise.
I have lost my way in the city, and I feel alone when you're with me. I look for places where I can't hide. I guess I've been searching for places, some familiar faces. I think I just need a little light. I've been trying to fake it. I have said I can take it, but I think you should let me go. Cause I need some time. Cause it has been too long since I got any sleep. Yeah, it's been a while since I've gotten some time just for me. Yeah, I need some time. I think I just wanna feel like home, but these days I just feel long gone, and I don't know how to make it right. I've been trying to fake it. I have said I can take it, but I think you should let me go. Cause I need some time. Cause it has been too long since I got any sleep. Yeah, it's been a while since I've gotten some time just for me. Yeah, I need some time. Sometime 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 I need some time. Cause I need some time. Cause it has been too long since I got any sleep. Yeah, it's been a while since I've gotten some time just for me. Yeah, I need some time. Sometime I need some time. 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 I need some time.
You're kissing my neck and grabbing my leg, pushing me backwards into your bed. Baby, you are all I need. another bottle of this wine, I'll be up in your space. Love and affection, ain't got nothing on me. No, that's not what I need. Maybe on another day, I'd encourage you to make me stay, but baby, I'm just trying to numb my brain and wrap my head around this whole thing. When you're kissing my neck and grabbing my leg, pushing me backwards into your bed, baby, you are all I need, but I don't wanna dive too deep, so I pick up my clothes and be on my way, leave you a note saying I can't stay, baby, you are all I need, but I don't wanna dive too deep, too deep. I think I learned my lesson. You can love somebody else until you're loving yourself. I need some direction before we dive into these sheets. Maybe on another day, I'd encourage you to make me stay, but baby, I'm just trying to numb my brain and wrap my head around this whole thing. When you're kissing my neck and grabbing my leg, pushing me backwards into your bed, baby, you are all I need, but I don't wanna dive too deep, so I pick up my clothes and be on my way, leave you a note saying I can't stay, baby, you.
Mic is hot. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Shout out to all the nerds. Shout out to all the geeks.
I cannot say what's wrong or right.
Shout out to all the cornballs.
It's not hard to fool me. Cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yeah. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all.
Cassius.
To the edge of it all.
We're going to turn this into the Shannon and Cassius show.
Cause I'll buy no matter what. Yeah. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. Ooh. So tell you good night. Cause I'll buy no matter what. Ooh. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. It's not a problem. Cause I know what I'm getting into. Yeah. And nothing can stop me.
What up, Cassius?
Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all.
Your mic is off, but it could be the system that's doing it. I can see you. I can see you. We'll test it in just a second.
Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. Before it flies.
What up, Thomas Thompson?
So tell you
Salute, bro.
good night. Cause I'll buy no matter what. Susceptible now.
Insane.
Before the moment flies.
Insane one is here. What up, bro? Good to see you, man. Aisha, I see you in the chat. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Husband School. Students, welcome to class. You have now entered the main lecture hall in the Department of Hard Knocks at Shannon Rawls University. Please have a seat, take out a pen and paper, and prepare to take notes. There's a lot to learn tonight. My name is Professor Shannon. I'd like to introduce my esteemed colleague of the night. Do we got this going? Let me see. Do I got this going correctly? Let me see. Cassius, give me a mic check.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Loud and clear, bro. You know, I was saying, I don't know if you heard me. I said we're gonna turn this into the Cassius and Shan show.
Hey, consistency is key. We might have to for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
They'll circle back once they get hot and take off. Then they'll want to be on real quick.
Let me see something. Hold on. Let me do a switch on this. Add this here. Yeah, you know, I know it's a lot to do a podcast. Like to get somebody to come in on every week for 1 hour, that's a lot, especially with people working. It's not like we have the COVID hours. You know, those you know, everybody had to go back to work. Those stay safe, stay home hours is over with. So
yeah, but I mean,
kick it.
This is starting in most regions, unless you're on the West Coast, in the evening, typically after your normal working hours, right? And so,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I get it. It's just one of those things that, you know, somebody really, when they commit, they really got to own their commitment. You know, sometimes we soft commit and didn't realize how much of a commitment it really is. And like, oh, shoot, it might be a little more than what I thought type of thing. But
yeah, that's what it is. You know, because YouTube,
my word, you know what I'm saying? If I say I'm a beater, I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm there.
YouTube requires a lot. And see, a lot of people Clubhouse is one thing. Right, you know, that's how a lot of us met. We met over at Clubhouse in our Clubhouse day. Clubhouse, you can walk around the house in your drawers. Yeah. You ain't got to get dressed up. You don't have to do a fresh cut. You know what I'm saying? You just got to stick your phone in your face, listen to what, and then hit the mute button, come off the mic, and then just yap and yell, and then go back, go to the toilet. YouTube requires a little bit more, actually a lot more than what Clubhouse is doing. So. But it just depends on what everybody's trying to do.
I was saying the visuals will kill it if it don't look and feel professional. So to your point, and to what you were saying, I know there's a lot of pre-work that goes into getting this show off the ground. So major shout out to you for coming back week after week. And you got multiple things going on, which I'm sure you'll talk about. But this ain't your only show. You got several shows. So
yeah, man.
I mean that's 11. A lot of that's a lot of moving pieces.
11 shows. I do.
Yeah.
So I know. And I've been doing some stuff out here in LA over the last week, but typically like on a regular work week for YouTube, this is in addition to my business. Yeah. You know, this is my what I do to generate money is a whole different beast, right? That's my fashion brand. That's my office downtown. The YouTube thing is on a normal day, 2 shows a day, 5 days a week, 3 shows on Sunday. The shows on Sunday are pre-recorded, but I still got to shoot them. So there's that. And then the 10 shows during the weekday, that's live. And then that is just my channel. Then I go on other shows for other people. Yeah. So I'm doing maybe 15 shows a week on average. 3 shows a day. You know, then I got to make money. But, you know, I enjoy it. The reason why I enjoy it is because one, I came from Facebook. I came from the Facebook group and Facebook page and the Facebook profile. And then I was on Instagram and I was over there yapping for years. And then Facebook started shutting shit down. They started switching the algorithm, you know. And so it was just like, oh, you know what? I don't know what's going on. Then I found then I found Clubhouse, right? Then I found YouTube. YouTube seemed to be more impactful than Clubhouse. Clubhouse to me became, even though I picked up a decent following over there saying what I was saying, I realized that I was talking to the same people. And it became more of a sounding board, and you know, it's the same people, and who's running a room today, and what they talking about, and are we just rehashing the same talking points, and we just hollering at each other? Over here at YouTube, is searchable. See, once you shut down a Clubhouse room, that room is gone. I get it; they got the replays, but don't nobody even watch the replays. Don't nobody watch those. Yeah, you know, everybody's looking for a live show to see what people are saying right now. Only time somebody goes for Clubhouse replays is to go see what somebody said at a specific time.
Yep.
Because somebody
I agree.
said something crazy, or somebody want to know what the fuck happened, or something like that. But just to go back and listen to a clubhouse room, nobody does that. But over here at YouTube, people watch the shows, and so it felt like I'm like, unlike Facebook and Instagram, and unlike Clubhouse, the stuff that I be saying, it seems to be more impactful over here. So,
No, and not only that, but the residual nature of when you can watch it almost at any time. So even if someone happens to miss the live, they can always circle back, and it's an easy function to do so. Like it really, it's not that hard to circle back on some of those other platforms. I think it's a little bit more difficult to circle back.
yeah.
So I feel you on that part.
What up, Eric J? I see you in the chat. Hey, Kimberly. It's good to see you, Kim. I'm wonderful, love. I know you're doing well. What up, Sebastian? And Njaps 8. I hope I said that right. Or is that Naps? Is the J silent? Naps 8? Naps 8. Naps 8. No, it's not. It doesn't say anything. Anyways, what up? Good to see you, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having a topic that we need to discuss today. So for those that don't know what Husband School is, I like to explain it every show. Husband School is a podcast where we give a little bit of game to those who are interested in becoming a husband, not just married, but a husband. So one of the arguments out there in the mating and dating streets is that men don't want to be husbands and women don't want to be wives. So we have Wife School on Thursday and we have Husband School on Tuesdays. Both of them are at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And what we do is we present one pressing question and we discuss it and give different perspectives. We have people from varying backgrounds. Some are married, some are single, some have children, some don't. Some have been in long-term relationships, some are just joining them. But we give you perspective so you can have a conversation about some of the things that you may not be having at home. One of the arguments is that there's no fathers at home, right? There's over 70% single family homes in America, and is led by women, right? So where's the dad? If a guy wants to get married, what examples does he have? Who can he look to figure out what he's doing when he wants to jump into a marriage? Does he just want to jump in and read books? Does he just want to go to, just freestyle it? You want to freestyle your marriage? I wouldn't suggest it. I tried that. I tried to freestyle my marriage. Hey, Bethany. How you doing, Bethany? Bethany, you pulling up, Bethany? Let me know. I think the link is in the chat. You can pull up Bethany. I think we talked to you in the back channel. So you don't want to freestyle your marriage. And so one of the arguments is everybody wants to be married. Everybody wants the benefits of marriage. It looks fun, the honeymoon stage, all that lovey-dovey stuff. And then what's the brass tacks of marriage? Well, for men, it's being actual husband. It's doing the work that's necessary for long-term sustainable growth, prosperity, and success in a relationship. And at I think we're at 61%. It's over 60% divorce rate in the Black community. In America, it's 52, right? I know nationwide, of all people, right, of all ethnic groups, Black, white, Asian, and Latino, in America, we are divorcing more than we're getting married, right? So we're at 52% nationwide, but in the Black community, it's over 60%. And so if you had to jump out of an airplane with a parachute and somebody told you that there's a 60% chance that your parachute won't open, would you jump? We all know the answer. Who would jump out of an airplane and you have a 60% chance of your parachute opening? 6 out of 10 people fail.
That shit ain't coming out.
I'm not getting in the plane. I'm not getting in the plane.
I'm not getting in the plane.
Now here's the thing. I will get in the plane, Cassius. I will get in the plane if I'm equipped with the knowledge on packing the parachute myself. See, if I just take somebody else's parachute and I just say, okay, I guess this is gonna work, and I just can't wait to jump, and I'm gonna just put this on, and I trust the person that packed it, and I think I know how this works. I'm a man. I've been around. I have a feeling on how this works. Then I go out and I just jump. Then that I wouldn't do it. But if I knew everything I needed to know about why do I got parasailing in my head? About
Parachutes.
Parachuting. About parachutes. No, what's the act of jumping out of I jumped out of helicopters in the military. I was air assault. I know it's airborne, but it's
I don't know that. Skydiving.
I couldn't think. I'm thinking like, what's the name? Skydiving. If I knew everything there is to know about skydiving, everything I needed to know, and I was equipped with the knowledge and the information that a lot of people that go skydiving and fail and crash and burn don't know, then maybe I would do it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. We are some skydiving instructors for marriage. And we don't want you guys to jump, fellas. We don't want you to jump. We don't want you to get into the airplane and trust that your parachute is packed properly and trust that you know everything that you need to know to have a successful jump. I'm glad you guys are here. Some of so normally our show, we have a panel of 6 brothers and 2 women, but today, and this has happened that's what me and Cassius was talking about earlier. It's been a lot, like 2 people had to move, right? So one person is relocating from Los Angeles to Texas. No, to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to Atlanta. So that was different. So it's been difficult for him to join the show. And so, but nevertheless, the show must go on, even if I had to sit here and talk to you guys myself. And I got a question of the night. I got to always trust Cassius to pull up. So Cassius, we got a topic, man. Hold on, let me throw it up on the screen, bro. Give me a second. How was your week, by the way?
Man, pretty good, man. No complaints, man. I'm in a pretty good position. Obviously life happens to everybody and things don't go according to plan. But when I really sit down and think about it, I'm living a lot of people's dreams. So you ain't gonna hear me complaining, man. There's a lot of people that would switch places with me in a heartbeat. So all intents and purposes, I'm doing very good. I'm blessed, bro.
Cool.
How about you? I know you said you got 1,001 hats you wearing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, one of my properties. I've been remodeling one of my properties, so that's been time consuming. I've redesigned 2 of my fashion brands and brought in partners instead of employees. So that and we've been trying to do a clearance blowout sale for some of the older inventory, and that's been time consuming. I picked up a truck, and so I've been working on that. That's time consuming, and this is a hobby truck, a 4x4.
It's a toy. It's a toy.
Yeah, I just picked up a toy. Yeah. I just picked up a toy, and so I've been thinking about the lift and been shopping for rims and tires, getting the big monster tire, getting all, getting the whole interior done and the sound system done and the lights up under it and all. I'm just having some fun, right? So that's really been on my mind. So it's just, I got a lot going on. Yeah.
The old lady was looking at me because I was putting things on my truck. I got me a newer truck a couple years ago, fresh out the lot, and I did my aftermarket things on it. She started to look at me a little funny because I was throwing a lot of change into it. I was throwing a lot of change into getting it right because I want you to be able to feel me and see me and hear me when I pull up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. So, look, I didn't think I would, so I had a 4x4 before, but it was 30 years ago. I had a 4x4 30 years ago. Hey, Truth Seeker. Good to see you, love. I had a 4x4 30 years ago. I'll tell you offline how I acquired it. And then I sold it when I got out the military. And then I parked it for, huh?
Was it a pink slip deal?
Nah. It was some. It was. I'll tell you later.
Okay. I was just saying I'm familiar with hustling and then someone.
Yeah, it wasn't even a hustle. It was more so just some. I'll tell you about it.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Offline.
So yeah, it was a 1972 International Scout. Right. I had a 1972 International Scout. And back then, it wasn't shit. It wasn't a K5. It wasn't a Bronco. So I was just like, oh man, you know what? Sold it, I think, for $800, man. That truck is worth maybe 50 grand now. Maybe 50, 60 grand. In the condition that I had it, 50, 60 grand. I sold it for $800, man. And just because I wanted the parking space at my house. But I've had vans. I've had I've had SUVs, I've had vans, but I don't think I've had a pickup truck since. So I haven't had a pickup truck since. So I picked up a pickup truck, a 4x4, a F-150 yesterday.
The fact you call it a pickup is interesting because usually I only hear that deep in the South. No, I'm serious. I usually don't hear people refer to trucks as pickups unless you're deep in the South. That's like
that's all I know.
Yeah.
That's all I know. So I picked up that, and I'm having fun with it. And it's already got a 3-inch leveling kit on it, so it's big. It has a 35. I mean, it's a big truck. Them shits are big. Like I didn't know. I didn't know that they're just big. They're just big ass trucks and shit. Yeah. I went to fill it up. I had to run the credit card twice, at the pump, because that's how big the tank is. And and the gas station I go to maxes out at $95, and you got to turn around and charge it again to run another $80. So, but it's cool though. I'm having fun with it, and it's just something to have fun. And then also my sons want to go. Like my son-in-law, he's 7 years old. He said he wanted to go camping. So, he's watching TV, he's learning stuff. He's talking to he's in 2nd grade. He's talking to kids, and now he knows what camping is. So, there's that. And then my baby boy, my young son, he likes trucks. So they haven't seen it yet. They'll see it this weekend. Yeah. Nevertheless though, man, the question, and we could just jump right into it, Cassius, and this is something I wish Letitia would pull up, because I want to hear her point of view, or at least want to hear what the women have to say about this. But because this is something that this is somewhat of a topic.
Any of the other ladies?
This is somewhat of a topic, huh?
I said, did you hit Happy or any of the other ladies?
No, I didn't hit up Happy. Okay. I didn't hit Happy. I did hit up Bethany. Bethany said she might pull up, but she had to take care of her babies, so she might pull up. We'll see. But listen, here's the question, man. The question of the night for men: why level up if women are interested in thugs and criminals? So the question is essentially: do nice guys finish last? Do the nice guy finish last? What's the point? And here's the question that was presented to me, and I had a discussion with a young man about it. He said, what's the point in me becoming square and leveling up when women get rich and wealthy, the ones that women like to emulate, the ones they want to be like he brought up these examples: Rihanna, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, Sierra, her first relationship. These are the women that women want to be like. What's her name? The girl that dated, not Offset, but I forget the dude from the Migos. I forget his name. Anyways, these women, they still marry or be with bad boys. Now they got millions and millions of dollars, Cassius. These women are world renowned. These women have millions of young women who want to be like them and emulate them and become them. You got the Summer Walkers out there. We can add her name to the mix. These women still, when it came to the guy that they selected to either have a child with or marry, they chose the bad boy. They didn't choose a doctor. They didn't choose an attorney. They didn't get a blue collar worker. They didn't get a regular upstanding, law abiding, with no criminal past guy. They all seem to have touched upon the bad boy. Now, here's the thing. I know that these women don't represent all the women in America, and I know a lot of women do not look at these women as role models, but that's typically older women after it's too late. I ain't talking to them. I'm not talking to the women that's already made the bad decisions 20 years ago when they were in their 20s, and now they want to, looking for a cleanup man, and now they want to get their shit together. I'm talking about the young ones, Cassius. The young ladies do in fact look up to Rihanna and Cardi and Megan and
Beyonce, even Beyonce, like there's a list of them. You can go.
Beyonce and her, let's just keep it 100. Even, Jay-Z cleaned up, but the point is he was pushing weight.
when they got together, he wasn't that clean. Is the point?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm with
he
you.
met her. She was 18. He was 30.
Yeah.
So he wasn't that clean. You know,
Nah.
Sierra, Future, not clean. Nicki Minaj, she went back to the hood and got her husband, right? Cardi B, Offset. So why is it that when women have the opportunity to pretty much date anybody that they want, they choose those guys? What is the benefit of young men, Cassius, leveling up if women are interested in thugs and criminals?
Man, that's good. Because I get where the conundrum is, or where you may feel like it would be pointless for you to do that. Because if men, secretly in confidence, or even in open conversations, admit that they like these type of women, right? These, visually pleasing, super gorgeous looking women, and you say you want that type of woman. Well, if that woman's saying she wants the roughneck type dude, then men will start to emulate the roughneck type dude to get the woman they want. So to ask the question, what's the point of leveling up? I think personally, you got to have both. I think that the rough edges, the little bit of danger, because that's the excitement. That's what it is. It's these men provide a level of excitement, a level of spontaneity, a level of unknown. It's like that thrill of the danger. Like it's almost like that women want to feel like something's gonna pop off, but be with a dude that if it did, they ain't gotta worry about nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like they want to go walk over to the edge of the cliff and get real close, but they want to have a safety harness and know they're never gonna fall.
Also,
right?
this is the protection. This is the protection P.
I think that's part of it, but I think it's more the thrill. I think that from when I hear women talk about and kind of idolize these type of men, or put these men up or chase these men down, it's because of that adrenaline rush, that level of excitement, that level of, oh, it might be some shit gonna pop off, even if it never does. That chance that it might seems to be intoxicating, where it grabs them and they can't get rid of it. Not to mention, there is I think can't think of the term, but there's a false sense of idealism in that if you have an attorney or if you have a doctor, that they have too much to lose, so therefore they're corny, they're corny, they're boring, they're no fun, they don't go anywhere, they don't do anything, they just kind of go to work, come home, because they don't want to risk their practice, whether it be an attorney or whether it be a doctor, or even if you're a blue collar person and you're in senior leadership, or you're a V-level at Home Depot or whatever, right? Like there's a lot of politics that kind of go into those roles, which I think restricts some of those men's freedom to be who they really are, because we talk about assimilation, right? So if you find men that are typically in those positions, even if they come from the bad boy era, or even if they have that in their background experience, they almost completely rid themselves of that, and they're trading that part of them to secure the bag. And so from what I understand is the women want both. They want the man that got their bag, but also has a freedom to be who they really want to be, which is sit around, drink, smoke, play dominoes, and talk shit. Well, you really can't do that in a public setting or with eyes on you if you're an attorney, because you'll lose credibility. You can't really do that as a doctor or a physician, because if that's seen, you'll all of a sudden lose credibility. Well, if you a bad boy and you get your money halfway illegally, or you in the streets and you got some, a few hustles, this and the third, you don't really have to conform to those type of rigid, like stay within this era here. You can't go outside of here. You got to be good. You got to walk right. You got to talk right. You got to stay out of trouble. That what corporate America will make you do, right? If you want to be successful. So I think it's a part of those things. I think it's those two things, is that even if you come from a bad boy era and you got some rough edges to you, once you assimilate to what I would call, the majority world, white America, you have to stop doing those things. Otherwise, white America will put a ceiling on your upward mobility, and then thus your funds. And I think
isn't that one of the biggest arguments though?
Huh?
Well, that's one of the biggest arguments. See, one of the biggest arguments that women are having is saying that these dudes ain't got nothing. Dudes is still ripping and running the streets. Yeah. But the counter argument to that is the dudes are saying, yeah, and these women want me.
Yeah.
These women are giving me babies.
Yeah.
These are the women that I'm able to fuck all of these women.
Shoot the club up. They don't care.
So what's the incentive? What's the incentive for a young man to rush to corporate America when his sexual appetite is being satisfied with women who don't want the square guy? So, yeah. I mean, I get it. I get what he's eventually going to have to do. I get what he may have to do over time. I understand. That's only some of them, right? You know, it's a small percentage, but it's still some of them. But why would he want to do that sooner than later? Right now, they call it a lying flat, right? I think it's a term that came out of China because the kids don't want to go to work. So going to work, employers can't find good workers. Don't nobody want to go to work. Everybody wants to hustle somehow. It's all about busting a lick. Women get moist when they find out he didn't busted a PPP loan scandal.
Soaking wet.
Right?
Soaking wet.
So if I was 22 years old today, Cassius, I'm thinking to myself, I can go, if I'm at a fork in the road and I say I can go this route and I might not get no pussy. And I'm only gonna make a little bit of money right now because I'm only 22. I have no experience. Or I can go over here and I can rip and run the streets. I can get me a Charger. I can get the fine chick. My gram is gonna be lit. It's gonna, I'm gonna be litty in the club and I'm gonna be in VIP popping bottles with my Gucci belt on. I got tons of cash. And the girls, and here's the thing, this is the part that's important since this is husband school. And the women want, see, it's one thing if guys is doing that because they want to just look good or they're doing, but the women want them. Mm-hmm. Now, I get it. This should be a 2-part conversation, and I'm probably going to bring this up on Thursday at wife school. Why are women opening up their legs to these guys? But my question is, why should these guys... Hold on, let me bring in Chris, Professor Chris. He's here. Why should these guys...
What's up, Chris?
Why should these guys rush, Cassius, to square themselves up?
Yeah.
When the women will fuck with them as they are.
Yeah, so I'll put it to you like this, and this is part of, I think, the position that allowed me to never really have any issues with acquiring the affection and love of the woman that I wanted. Because I think you gotta have both. I really do think that for a woman who has such a robust level of interest and love and excitement, that anymore nowadays you gotta have some edge to you, some roughness to you, even perceived danger, even if you never get into any shit, even if you never do, like even if you never. So
you just gotta look the part. You gotta look like the thug nigga that'll pop off.
Not necessarily like I think, like, for me, when I think about it, like I always say this, and I posted on social media before, but I think it's funny like this. I always talk about my duality, and a lot of people think how I carry myself and how I can articulate and things of this nature, that I came from a 2-parent household with very little turbulence growing up, which is completely the exact opposite. You know what I mean? I come from probably some of the worst conditions a kid can be born into. Okay. And so it's funny how when I ascended into corporate America and then started to have a level of duality, I always say this in conversation. When my niggas hear me take a work call, they always be looking at me like, this nigga really is Carlton Banks. Oh, whitewashed ass nigga. Like they talk to me like that. Mm-hmm. The ironic part of that, though, is when my work colleagues hear me take a personal call with one of my partners, they be looking at me like, oh, he really is a nigga. Like he really is from the streets. And that's the duality of of where I come from and probably some of the things that I've done growing up that could have easily landed me in prison multiple times, because unfortunately most of the people in my family have records, and I easily could have one as well. I just was fortunate or blessed or lucky not to have gotten caught up or pinched in those situations. But I'm saying that to say that I think now, as a 30-something-year-old man, when I look back, if I was talking to a youngster, and then we'll pass it over to Chris and let Miss Professor Letitia jump in, is I would tell that, hey, keep a level of the street common sense, because you need that street common sense. Keep a little bit of excitement, but be smart about how you live that life. Two different things you have to take care of. You need to take care of your bag, because as you get older, if you ain't got it, they're going to dismiss you. So take care of that. And then the other side is yes, you should be true to where you come from, and then embrace some of the not so pretty elements of what we like to do. When I say we, I mean inner city Black community likes to do for fun. Like sit around a table at a picnic, eating out of paper plates and drinking Kool-Aid out of an old pickle juice bar, and then y'all talking shit and playing dominoes. Like, you need to be able to do that on a Saturday morning or afternoon, and then that same day, go to a restaurant where you need a reservation, and you got to know the difference between a dinner fork and a salad fork, or a soup spoon and a dinner spoon. You get what I'm saying? So I think I would encourage that man to be able to do both. Like, find a way to have a little bit of excitement, a little bit of edge to you, but also make sure you secure that bag to where you can walk in any room and be able to have a conversation with a CEO if need be. So I'll pass it over to y'all and let y'all respond off of that.
Well, I'm glad Chris is here, and I'm glad Professor Letitia is here. Chris, I'm gonna jump to you, but real quick, what does that look like? When you say it real quick, Cassius, explain, what does that look like to have a little bit of both? What does that dirty side look like?
Man, I mean, for
what's
me,
a little bit
it's
of
just,
that somebody should have?
yeah. I mean, that's gonna be hard to put into words, man. You might have to let me think on that one and circle back, because that's a good question. That's a great question that I don't think I got a quick answer for. So let me chew on that a little bit and then circle back.
All right, cool.
That's a very good question.
Yeah, because I mean, I hear what you're saying, and it's like you got to be, it's almost like where we want women, you got to be a freak in the sheets and a lady in the streets, right? Well, we know what that looks like. I can define both of those. I can define the lady in the streets. I could define that freak in the sheets. You know what I'm saying? We know code switching, where you got to put on your white voice when you get in the fucking conference call. But then when we hang up, there was a meme. It was like this brother had a deep voice. He was like, I can't let y'all be on my social media. I'm damn near a gang member. That went viral.
Hey, big homie, add me on Facebook. He's like, I can't, man. Outside of work, I'm damn near a gang member.
Outside of work, I'm damn near a gang member. I get what you're saying, but I want to know what that side is. Chris, you're in the ATL. Professor Chris, you are in the ATL, and you are right in the thick of it. What is it about young men, Chris, that should incentivize them to become square, to become corporate, to clean up their image, to dress nicely and pull their pants up? Why should the young men in the ATL want to do that when the women in the ATL are interested in the guys that are a little rough on the edges?
Great question. So I'm not too loud, am I?
No, you good.
Okay. I feel like I'm always loud, but great question. So the truth is, the reason why you should pull your pants up, you should have a suit, a tie, have some decorum, because like Cassius said, you need to be able to code switch, because I can go quickly from bruh, let that motherfucker go real quick because I'm gonna whip his ass, to listen, I don't actually fight, I just take other actions, if you understand what I'm saying. I call 12, you know what I mean? And if they don't come fast enough, my baby got a laser on it, so you better choose real quick. You need to be able to have that, and you need to be able to bounce between all situations, and not just in Atlanta, because I grew up in the inner city, um, in the hood, if you will. But I had a 3.5 GPA, graduated from high school, and I was in the top 10% of my class, and I was the only black kid that was in the top 10% of my class, but also went to Morehouse. So you need to be able to balance your hood nigga shit, because not everybody speaks the language of niggas. Not everybody speaks the language of black men. And it's not speaking white. It's actually being able to modify your language so that you are deemed comparable to walk into this situation, to be able to negotiate a contract, because no one's going to negotiate $1 million contract, $1 billion contract, multi-thousand. Let's just take it from 7 figures down to a couple thousand. Nobody's going to negotiate a $25,000 contract if every word that you speak is, yo, nah, I mean, you feel me? I feel like, you should really just give me the contract because, I'm about that. You know what I mean? No one's going to give that to you.
Yeah, but Chris, that's not even an average guy. So if we talk about averages, the average man ain't negotiating multi-million-dollar contracts. So if
that's why I said let's bring it down to a $25,000 contract,
okay.
Right? No one's gonna negotiate with you if you're not able to say, hey, listen, here's the value that I bring to this contract. Here's the reason why you need me versus someone else. And these are the things that you can see that as I continue to excel in this contract, you'll be able to incentivize me to get more money, or to get more, or to compensate me. I'm kind of flying off the cuff, but you need to be able to do those things, because here's the thing: you walk into a school when you have kids.
But my girl don't care about that stuff, Chris. All she care about is that if we go on vacation or not, and she just want to make sure that we can eat.
Here's the thing:
the women don't care.
She cares, and if she doesn't care and she wants you to have a little street, a little edge, it's fine to have a little bit. But you got to tell her, like I tell the women that I date, right? Well, I used to date. I'm only dating one person. I'm only dating one person now. Let me clarify that before she see this clip and she be like, "What?" Anyways, the lady I'm talking to now, I say I do RNS, and she said, well, "What is that?" Real nigga shit. I do. Like, for example, if I buy an iron at Walmart and it breaks, I'm gonna go buy the same iron at Walmart and take the broken one back with my receipt and get my money back.
That's
because
some real nigga shit. You ain't gonna call the warranty. That's some real nigga
no.
shit. Be like,
what up? Because it's gonna take the warranty too long. I just go buy the same thing. Walmart gonna give me my money back because I got X amount of days on my receipt.
So, but that's the street smarts. That's the street smarts, right? You got book smart, you got street smart. Street smart is, so that you use a little bit of street ingenuity to make sure that first of all, we already know how the big company's gonna do. They're gonna send it back to the manufacturer anyway. It's gonna end up going one way or the other. But all you did was accelerate your repair program. I get that.
But on the other end, if she says, honey, don't do that, I'm wise enough to listen. Okay, you know what? Let me listen to her. Because this is the part of me that I need. And she's telling me, no, I've done that 20 times in the last, 6 months. They going to catch up to me. Or maybe she just mean go to another Walmart on the other side of town.
That's why Home Depot wants your driver's license. But go ahead.
Yeah, right. But in all seriousness, the reason for it is because I'll use it biblically. The Bible says, be all things to all people, right? Jesus did not go into the church and preach to the people in the church. His ministry was outside of the church. He talked to the people that were lame, by the pool, that were, blind, that had the issue of blood. He talked to everybody about everything. He talked to the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and he dealt with businessmen. So he was in all scenarios. And so, not saying that you have to be like Jesus, but you want to be able to navigate all situations. That's why you need to leave your street locked in a chamber, so when you need it to be able to protect your family, it can come out. But you need to be able to have the sense, the common sense, to know that you can't have an unlicensed weapon if you got a felony. You can't have, she has to have it, right? There are things that you need to be able to do as a man to protect your family, and it takes being able to code switch to be able to do those things. I'll talk about you.
Well, Professor Letitia, I'm glad you're here. So, young men are asking today, Professor Letitia, because they want to be married. They want to be husbands. They don't know necessarily how to be husbands, and they are in purgatory right now. They're getting mixed signals. The men that want to be married are running into women who are emulating celebrities who are dating bad boys, who are marrying bad boys. I brought up Rihanna. I brought up Summer Walker. I brought up Cardi B. I brought up Megan Thee Stallion. I brought up Nicki Minaj. I brought up Sierra. All of these women, bad boy baby daddies, bad boy husbands, and didn't have to. Multimillionaire women with the pick of the litter when it comes to men, and the guy that they chose in some cases was the nigga. And so the young men are looking at the women in their social circles who's speaking and talking and dressing like and acting and moving like these women, and these women are thinking to themselves, well, that's the kind of guy I want. If Summer Walker's gonna have a baby with the thug, then I'm only gonna date the thug. If Nicki Minaj is gonna go back to the hood and marry the homie from around the block, then that's the only kind of dude I want to be with. I don't want to be with a guy with a college education. Cardi B with Offset. I don't want a college education. I want a rapper. I want the rapper. I want the dude with the grill and the chains and with the fancy car. And education is not important to me. What do I tell these young men, Professor Letitia, when they're perplexed and saying, Shan, why should I level up? Why should I become square? And why should I command the English language when I could just talk with slang? Why should I dress up when I could just wear, gray sweats all in white J's and a white tee and a snapback all day long? Why I could get a full sleeve of tattoos and bring it all the way up my neck and go ahead and throw a tattoo across my. That's who the girls like. So why should I avoid that life when the women want that guy?
Okay, so majority of women don't want that guy, but
young women. I'm sorry, I didn't specify. I'm talking about the young women. Go ahead.
Even young women, majority of young women don't want that guy. Okay, but the reason why you should level up and not look at most women's baby daddies, because you want a proper wife. You want a wife who is going to want to actually be with you. You want a wife who is actually going to want to look at you as more than just what you can give her and what you can do for her. So if you want a proper wife who understands that she is just as much of a part of you as you are as her, then you need to level up so that you can attract the type of woman that you actually say you want. So if you want femininity, you want submission, you want soft skills, then you're going to only be able to attract certain women if you conduct yourself a certain way. Soft, feminine women don't want to be with men who portray themselves as thugs. Okay, all of that hoopla, RNS behavior. Soft, submissive, feminine women aren't really into those type of men. So that's why you should level up. But if you are looking at the Cardi B's and the Meg Thee Stallions, and you're looking at who they're with, and you want to attract those women, by all means, do what you've been doing or do what you think is best. Because how you conduct yourself is going to be indicative of the type of woman that you're able to attract. And I don't believe that a man has to. I don't believe that boys or young men should be raised to think that they need to have this edge to them. Because in truthness, in all realness, Women are looking for men, masculine providers and protectors. And if you're a square dude and you've taken karate classes and you can show that you're able to protect your family, or you got a firearm and you're at the range, that's all she cares about. You have a good, decent job. You're able to pay your way, pay your bills, take care of your children, put food on the table. That's what she really cares about. That's what majority of women, whether they're young or older, that's what they care about. You do have some women who do like the thug element type. And if that's what you're attracted to, then that's what you're attracted to. But be aware of what you're going to get when you do get with such women.
I guess I guess the biggest thing is, and this is, I think she's really speaking to you, Cassius, because it's really a loud minority, right? I agree. I believe that it's not that many, but it's a lot. But damn, they know how to show their face, and that's, I think, is where it becomes problematic. Because let's use Lori Harvey as an example. See, when I go out and I name all the Rihannas and the Cardis and all these women, and I talk about they men, and we use celebrities because we can speak through celebrities, not necessarily about that person, but use them as a baseline, as a microcosm of a bigger sample size, right? So, but then you say, well, okay, well, what's the alternative? Who in the world that we all can have, there's a common denominator, we all know that person, whether they're on TV, they sing or whatever. Who is the flip side of that? And there are none. And the moment that we get something that's a semblance of it, and even with Lori Harvey, she still fuck with the bad boys first. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We could talk about Michael B. Jordan, right? But he came last. She was with the Futures before him. It ain't like she started with the guy, and then she's with Diddy.
No. Do you know who her first fiance was?
Yeah, I remember, but that's before she was anything.
Right.
The moment she became something, he was gone. I'm talking about now. So women aren't looking at that version of Lori and saying that's who I want to be like. They're looking at the version who has the Lori with the skincare collection and is out there doing fucking, goddamn Vogue magazine covers. They're looking at that version of Lori ain't mess with him. And when she did get one, it ended. So I know who her first boyfriend was, but that's back when she was fresh out of high school. So I guess my thing is, I get it. I'm with you. Uh-oh. Shout out to ex-son husband for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. He said, what is ex-son husband? He says, I refuse to be a pookie, even though black women love him. And so that's the thing. He's coming for you, Letitia. Listen.
Well, no, I'm saying he shouldn't have to be. I'm saying black men shouldn't have to play the role of pookie, even though there are black women who love it. I agree with him 100% that he shouldn't.
So when there are no examples, but then there are no there's far too few examples to counter the Summer Walkers. It's too few examples to counter them. Even when we look at what's Run DMC's daughter?
Naomi Osaka, all of them was chasing the bad boys for a while.
What's Run DMC's daughter? I forget her name.
Angela. Naomi Osaka, world-class tennis player. Got her a rapper. Serena Williams for the long time was running Common, Drake, all them like so. Go ahead, Shannon. I'll finish your point because I think I know. I think I figured out where the real.
I'm just saying when they are at their peak, when they are at their best, they give it to them niggas. And why them niggas? And when I say, well, who didn't? I can't come up with no names. But I think she's also but Letitia's also telling you, Cassius, that whole duality isn't a good move. Like, don't get rid of the edginess. The edginess is unnecessary, is what Letitia's saying. What do you say to that, Cassius?
So here's what it is, and I won't speak for all women because I'm not a woman. So I'll make it personal to my experiences and my reach of women, right? My exposure to women, and that's growing up in a house full of women. It was my mom, her 4 sisters, and my granny. And I always tell this story because it's true. Every type of woman that could be categorized or grouped was represented in that house. From the most promiscuous, where you take her to McDonald's and you can get it in the car, to you couldn't snip it till you put a ring on it, and everything in between. Like every woman that you could probably categorize was represented in that household. and they were very open and raw. So as a 14, 15, 16-year-old boy growing up, you heard and saw women work and operate in their authentic selves. Here's what I realized. It's the unpredictability versus the rule followers. Rule following is boring. It's very predictable. It's very routine. There's no excitement to it. It's the same thing over and over and over and over. And from my personal experiences from conversations, that's boring. There's nothing to look forward to. There's no real excitement there. The part of the edginess or the part of the bad boy that most of them tend to fall for is that unpredictability. Is you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. You don't know what the next day is going to look like. Now, to be fair, not all women like that. Some women love the stability, right? They want stableness, right? Typically, that's what they look for in a man is he stable? But I would venture to say, and this is just my opinion, doesn't mean it's right, just my opinion, that all women secretly desire some form of unpredictability or bad boyish, whether it be because
I saw that face. You know they all want. You know they all want. All of y'all want.
Yeah, like
we can take it to the bedroom.
Right, look at that's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. Even if it's because they heard they're really good in the bedroom, or maybe because they want some of that aggression that comes with that man, or some of that excitement. But I think it really boils down to is I think if a woman could really like build her man, he would be stable and have some unpredictability about him. He would have both. He would have some stability to where there was some comfort, where they felt safe, right? But there would still be some unpredictability, so it wasn't routine, because everybody knows routine is boring. Think about sex. If you do the same thing every time you have sex, after a while, it's boring. You don't want to do it anymore. There's no excitement. You already know what's going to happen. There's no fun there. But if you have some unpredictability in the bedroom, some excitement, some experimenting, you don't know exactly what's going to happen, that's enticing. Like, that's fun, right? And so I think that's kind of what it boils down to, is that if you have strong, strict rule followers, many women secretly get bored with them. Now, they may not say anything because their comfort of living is tied to that. Their stability is tied to that. But I think in confidence, women will secretly tell other women, yeah, I want them to throw me around some. I want them to be a little bit more exciting. I want them to be a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? So I'll yield there.
Okay, but you don't need a bad boy for all of that. Like, you don't need a guy who is trying to act like he's a thug on the street doing all of that, right? You're right. Women want to know that they're going to have a good time with the guy, that they're not going to be bored. I think that's on both sides. Man nor woman want to be bored in a relationship, right? But you don't need a thug or a pookie in order to have excitement. And while I will agree that no, Shannon, now I see your face. Okay? So young girls.
I'm not saying you gotta be pookie though. I'm not trying to say that far to you. I want to be clear. I'm not saying be pookie, but I am saying have some rough, edginess to you. That's
you don't need to have rough edginess. You just need to be an attentive partner and understand what she wants in the bedroom. Right? You just need to be a good.
You want
lover.
a nice guy, but from what
boring.
Nice guys don't finish last.
I don't
Professor
like
Letitia, like nice guys don't finish last.
They ought to finish last because I don't like nice guys and I don't trust nice guys. But I want a kind man. I want a kind and generous man, and most women want a kind and generous man. Okay, young girls are looking to just have fun. Why? Because we've gotten so far from raising them to focus on growing up and finding a husband and taking care of your household. Now we raise our young girls to focus on finding themselves and figure out who they are. People who lack self-awareness or who are not high in self-awareness, they don't understand what it is they really want. They don't understand what's good for them. Yes, those girls are going to be seeking fun because that's all that it's about for them. People who are not serious about relationships, they're seeking fun first and foremost. But for a large part of the female population, I can speak for women because I am one and I grew up around all of them and I congregate around them all my life and even now. And they'll tell me stuff that they won't really tell a man. When there are women who do like the bad boy type, they like the bad boy trope. They want to break out, they want to rebel, right? That speaks to her. That speaks to more than just her wanting a bad boy. That speaks to who she is at her core. She's a rebellious woman. So yes, if you feel you need to become this bad boy to attract such women, then understand how much reining in, how much checking, how much you're gonna have to be on top of such a woman. So if men feel as they need to level up to attract such women, by all means do you. Just understand what you're getting yourself into. But there are women who don't desire those type of men. However, because of their circumstances and surroundings that they're in, right? Everybody who's grown up in the hood, if you grew up in the hood, you know that there's a bit of survival that comes with that. Everybody has to have a bit of edge to them. So most guys are gonna have a bit of an edge to them. So there's gonna be a difference between the pookie, the thug, the criminal, and the regular average guy who has just a little bit of edge because everybody is, everybody's gonna try somebody's gonna try somebody. You're gonna get into I don't know anybody who's been in the hood who has not I don't know anybody who's not got into a fight, right? So you need to be able to protect yourself and protect your lady at all times. That's what she's looking for. There's nothing like being in those surroundings and a man could just do whatever he wants to her. So that's why women tend to naturally gravitate towards the so-called pookies and the thugs and the criminal types because they are looking for protection. There's nothing like being with your man and then someone coming up trying to do something and your man can't do anything to protect you. So I don't really think it's about what you guys think it's about. It's not about well, for some women it is about the fun and the excitement. For others it's about survival. It's about who can I survive with while we're living in these circumstances. But the reason why men should level up because a lot of them aren't going to stay in that environment. You're going to go off to college and you need to learn how to speak to your professors and your classmates who don't come from that background. You're going to get a good job one day. You need to learn how to speak to your boss. You need to learn how to speak to your coworkers. You need to know how to engage with people in that environment. You need to know how to communicate according to how the larger society communicates with one another. You may want to move into the suburbs one day. Well, the people in the suburbs live a completely different life and you're going to have to be able to assimilate into that life. And if you cannot assimilate, once you break out of where you came from, if you cannot assimilate, you're going to have a difficult time. So you do need to level up. And if you want the type of wife that you don't have to worry about whether or not she's cheating on you, you don't have to worry about whether or not she's that baby that you had is hers. I mean, is yours. You don't want that type of woman whom every guy had, then yeah, you need to level up because you trying to stay who you were back when you were younger, you're not going to qualify for the type of woman that you end up coming to realize that you really want and need.
Hey, Shan, who are these women cheating with? When they get out of these relationships, who are they running to? They damn sure ain't running to no rule followers.
Tyrone.
Oh my gosh.
It might not be Pookie, but it's damn sure Tyrone.
Okay, so who on this panel is dating a woman who prefers Pookies and Tyrone?
I'm not. Older. I'm just saying, I think they secretly desire it.
The thing is, Professor Letitia, we are in one of the things that's beautiful about this panel is we have the experience. You know what I'm saying? The wisdom is here on the show, right? The knowledge is with the young people, but they don't have the wisdom because they don't have the time and service yet. And so that's why we're trying to give them. So we know better, but we need to save the kids. And it's the young ones that's asking me, why should I do that? I know the older brothers that used to, they all wish they didn't do it no more. Everybody, all the old brothers, oh man, back in my day, I wish I don't have the prettiest past. How do we leave? I want them to skip that part. That's all it is. But real quick,
done that, right? We know because we're older, we've walked that path, we've walked that life, we know what the consequences and the outcome is going to be. So you tell them your story, you tell them how it is. For young women, I've seen women, now those were my type of guys, but I've seen how women got into those situations with those type of guys and what ended up happening. You end up having a baby and he leaves. Why? Because he's got every other girl in the same neighborhood pregnant or in a couple across town, right? Marriage, he's not going to give it to you. You want a comfortable lifestyle. He's not going to be able to give you that. He's not going to want to give you that. He's too busy running the streets. He's stuck and caught up with the street life. So it's like you need to tell these young guys, if you've been with these type of women, then tell these young men what they're signing up for. Yeah, it's fun for the moment. It's fun because she's exciting for the moment, but in the long run, is it going to benefit you? No, it's not.
Yeah, we telling them. We tell the art. But see, that's the thing is, like, even this topic is that I could talk to them all day long. Am I landing? Am I resonating? Are they receiving it? You know what I'm fighting against? I'm fighting against the fact that the women that they like want to be like these celebrity women, and these celebrity women are dating Future. But real quick, Professor Chris, we have a question that came through from ex-son husband. He says, does it mean that the sisters lack intelligence if they prefer the Tupac over the Will Smith? That's a great dichotomy too. Chris, does it mean that the women are not as bright, or that they lack some sort of intelligence because they want that Tupac guy as opposed to the Will Smith square guy, Chris?
So, so the first part, that question poses a problem for me, because that suggests that Tupac wasn't smart, and that Will Smith was, well-rounded and square.
Well,
right?
look, Thug Life. So let's remove the intelligence off the men. Is it smart or not for her if she wants the guy with Thug Life tatted across his chest, or the Will Smith who's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
So I think it's
They want Tupac.
it doesn't indicate that a woman is not smart or that they lack intelligence, right? The thing is, by and large, because if we're just going to go with intelligence, by and large, women are, particularly black women, are way more educated now than they have been in the last, 10, 15 years. The majority of them are getting multiple advanced degrees, master's degrees, multiple doctorates, Juris doctorates, things like that. Multiple, they're getting MFAs, just, everything. So they don't lack intelligence. It's sometimes they want to be able to find a respite from the normal wear and tear and the hustle and bustle of the corporate life, so that they can get back to some of that hood activity without risking their corporate job.
Right.
So they don't lack intelligence. It's just, they want a little edge, and there's nothing wrong with having a little edge. You just want to be wise about how much edge you use and where you decide to display said edge, because the last thing you want to do is be doing the right thing in the wrong place.
Got it. Professor Cassius, Alvin O says that some women also want the plaudits that come with refining the Pookie. The Brifford law is a proven fact. Basically, she cleaned him up. And look what I did, y'all. I took this nigga and I chiseled all the rough edges off of him. He didn't know how to write. He couldn't fill out an application. He didn't know what a suit was. He had none of that, but look what I did. I cleaned him up. Is there a smidget of truth to that too, Professor Cassius?
Yeah. And so two things real quickly. Erykah Badu said that she likes the reformed thug, the educated thug. And I think a lot of women secretly kind of like that desire, that person that still has a little bit of edge to him, but he's kind of reserved or moved away from that life to where he's not going to risk their entire livelihood and stability by doing some stupid shit over pride, ego, or whatever it may be. Having said that, I do think that there is a component of women, and this is just maybe the difference between men and women, not right or wrong, but men usually get with a woman and never want her to change. The way he is when they meet, that's how he always wants her to stay. However, women typically, when they get with a man, they almost immediately want to start changing it in some way, shape, or form. And I think they do it with good intention. I'm not saying it's with malintent. I think it's with good intention. So it's, to your point, that project of, yes, he is or was super rough around the edges. He didn't know how to, cut a suit. He didn't understand the difference between a dinner fork and a salad fork, or a soup spoon and a dinner spoon. He couldn't call and make reservations. But when I got with him, I upgraded him, and now he still
That's
has a little
right.
bit of yeah.
That's the
He still
Beyonce
has a
song,
little
right?
edge.
Upgrade.
Yeah, like Beyonce said, let me upgrade you. He still has a little of that edge, but he doesn't have any of the edge that's going to risk our family's livelihood. He's a better person or a good guy now, or a good boy now, if you will. So I think there's some truth to that. I think Erica Badu was on to something when she was talking about how she likes the reformed thug, the guy that once had maybe somewhat of a checkered past, but is far removed from that. And now he's educated, he's smart, he's articulate, he can carry himself, he can walk in any room and have a conversation with anybody, right? And I think that's kind of that duality that I was saying earlier, that I think you got to have a little bit of both. I think you need to have a little bit of, to what Miss Letitia was saying, if you went to a day party and it happened to be in the most and not the most nice neighborhood, that y'all could go and she would feel completely confident that if shit popped off, my man got us. But at the same time, you could turn around the next morning and he's on a conference call talking about fiscal year next year and OP1 planning and things of that nature. So I think there's some truth to that. And I'll toss it back to you, but I think there's some truth to that. That there's this project idea that women sometimes often undertake, is that for me, because every woman, especially these women that you reference, talk about how they got the WAP and they got the best in the world. So the suggestion is that with what I'm sitting on, this gold mine, I can make any man act right. And I think a lot of them try to, use that methodology and date Pookie and turn him into Tyrone, and then take him from Tyrone to Ty. And so
So
that's what I'll yield there.
what say you, Professor Letitia? Is there a semblance of truth to that? The women want projects. It's a work in progress, and she then she gets to say, "Look what I did! Look what I cleaned up."
No, not for these young women. No, you've got to come correct from day one, straight up. But I have to disagree with you when you said that men don't try to change women. Yes, they do. People try to change people all the time. A man will get with a stripper and then want her to stop stripping. A man will get with an IG model, then want her to give up her IG or change how she dresses. They will get with women and essentially try to change them. I think men don't seek out projects, whereas women don't mind a project, a man who is going to be a project. But yeah, men do try to change women all the time. They give it a woman who's wearing a wig, then they try to tell her don't wear the wig. They give it a woman who's wearing makeup. Oh, I like you without makeup. Or why do you have to do this? Why you have to do that? Why you have to dress this way? You should dress that way. So they do it all the time. But these young girls do not want projects. They do not, for the most part. They want a man who is going to basically have themselves together when they meet them. These young
So
girls are liking. I think that if the young girl does like the future types, you have to understand, like Future and I don't know all of these bad boy rappers for the most part. They have money, right? They have money. That's what the girls are looking for. They're looking for a lifestyle. So they want a man who is going to give them a lifestyle. The square has no money. He has a little job and he just has enough money to take care of himself and put gas in his car, pay his cell phone bill, give his mom some money, whatever. But
she don't want him either, though, right?
No, she don't want him because he don't have any money for her.
So Square don't have no money. Okay, so make this make sense for me. She don't want the Square guy. She don't want the non-select guy because he broke and he don't have nothing really going on. He's boring and he just he makes $48,000 a year. He's an assistant manager at Target and he's happy, and that's just like, what the fuck? That's like dating him is like watching paint dry, right? So she don't want that, and ain't no money in that, right? Then she don't want the nigga that's gonna put her in danger either. She ain't trying to get caught up in no drive-bys. She don't want to get a RICO charges and shit. So she don't want to date this criminal. But then all I think about is the movie Baby Boy. Like, if you say that the women want the guy that's ready and turnkey and ready to go, then how is it that we got so many homosexuals and dudes that's borrowing her car while she at work, and the dudes that show up right around tax time, and
okay, so when you're thinking of Baby Boy, you're thinking of our generation, and I'm thinking of my daughter's generation. right?
Oh, okay. So things have changed, is what you're saying?
Yes, my
Okay.
generation was completely different. You could get with a woman and drive her car, and she'll have a project. We call them Barbara the Builders. This new generation, my daughter's generation, Generation Z, younger millennials, they're not going for that. Why? Because a lot of them are in college, a lot of them are getting educated, a lot of them are getting good jobs, right? So they want men who are going to have it together. Now, I'm speaking on, just for this conversation, the girl who does want the Tupac over the Will Smith, right? Um, the girl who wants is because she's seeing on IG, she's seeing all these young girls with the Chanel bags, the Louis Vuittons, the red bottoms, going to Cabo, San Lucas, going to Jamaica, and she wants that. So she's
Yeah, the
gonna seek,
vacation.
yeah, she's gonna seek out the guy that can give her that. You know, the guy who can give her that, the little dude who is selling a little here and there, and then he's also got a rap career. The one who's wearing probably the fake diamonds, but he's got a little money in his pocket to where he could take her to Tijuana or somewhere. You know, he can fly her on Spirit Airlines and they go to Jamaica and he makes her feel real special. You know, he might have a where he can buy her the cheapest Chanel bag. The she don't know the difference between 3 seasons ago and this season. So he cops her a Chanel bag from 3 seasons ago, and she's excited, right? That's what she's looking for. But unfortunately, so getting back to the Tupac and the Will Smith, one Will Smith, I mean Tupac is the guy who was the educated lane. Remember, Tupac went to Juilliard. What goes to Juilliard or to a, I'm sorry, not Juilliard, but the Performing Arts School, Baltimore Performing Arts School. What? I don't recall any thugs in the arts with me. When I was in drama club and took drama, I don't recall any of the pookies showing up. You know,
I was
but
in there
he
cutting
turned
up.
into, he was the
No, I'm just
guy.
saying. I was just saying. I was a thespian. I went to college and was part of your theater team and a thespian and performing arts. And I was in there cutting up. But I do believe that's probably more of an exception to the rule. So I agree with you. That's
You out
probably more of an
there,
exception.
were you out there beating people up, bashing heads, and selling drugs?
I was
Clearing
doing a
gas?
lot of things that I won't speak on. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I was doing a
So,
lot of shit. Yeah, a lot of stuff I had no business doing. No
Tupac
business
wasn't
doing.
right,
I,
but
I
Tupac
even
was right.
I even say to this day, Miss Professor Letitia, I'm surprised I graduated. Like the fact, and I'm gonna be 1,000 with you. The only reason I did graduate is because my senior year I had a couple different girls finishing my senior dissertations. It wasn't because of my own efforts. I'm just be honest with you. I am more than blessed, lucky, or whatever you want to say, to have even finished and gotten my degree because it wasn't on my accord. I had gotten way back out in left field and was in shit I had no business being in. And it just so happened I had some women that really liked me or really cared about me and started doing some of my work for me to graduate. But I do agree that that's probably more of an exception to the rules than the rule. So I think you're right. I just think there's that maybe small percent of folks who kind of have a different experience.
So,
So
but if you look at Tupac was the educated lame, the non-select guy because he couldn't get the girl he wanted. Right, the girl he wanted was Jada. But she didn't choose him as a mate for whatever reason. Um,
No, but
and
she
then
gave me that too.
and then he grew into what we see today. I think that's partly because of the music industry. I believe that's who he started coming around in the music. It's something about Hollywood changes people, right?
Yeah,
But
I agree.
he was. But then you look at what does that do? In the end, what happened? He lost his life becoming trying to walk that balance or turning it into something that he think women would respect and women would want. When it came to the rape charges, look what type of woman who was up in that room wanting to be around such men, and then what did she do? According to him, she lied on him. So what I'm saying is when you turn into that, when you try to portray that role, you're going to get a certain type of woman, right? And in the end, it's going to be nothing but headaches, problems, and trouble. So this is why I'm saying if I had a son, I would not teach him to walk a balance. I would teach him to be his authentic self. Focus. If the girls aren't feeling you right now, that's okay. You focus on school, you focus on your education, you focus on making a lane for yourself in this world. Because at some point, them women who passed over you, they're gonna come running to you. They're gonna be flocking back to you. They're gonna spin the block for a while. They're gonna spin the block with the Pookies and the Ray Rays and whoever. But in the end, we're gonna be the last man standing because you're gonna be the one who they're gonna want.
Well, I want to welcome Professor Mumia Obsidian Ali to the conversation before we wrap it up. Professor Ali, young brother asked me, he said, nice guys finished last, Shan. He said, why should I level up? And that's one of our biggest talking points for the Black Manosphere meetup. Why should I level, but the young ones are asking, why should I level up when all the women that I like don't like leveled up dudes? They all, and he says, look at Cardi, look at Megan, look at Nicki, look at Sierra, look at Rihanna, look at Summer Walker. He's rounding off the list of women who didn't have to date this guy, but they selected him, had their babies by him, and married them anyway. So the young guys are saying, well, shit, if that's what the chicks is wanting, then why should I square up? Why should I wear a suit? Why should I learn to speak better English? Why should I go to college? Why? If the women that I like don't even like that type guy, why should I level up if the women want thugs and criminals? What say you, Obsidian?
Yeah. Thank you for the invitation. I just found out about this. I wish I would have been here sooner. Good topic. And good evening, everyone.
You're muffled. Your mic is muffled. Are you on your? It's difficult to hear you.
Well, let me check the settings and see if everything is. Can you hear me better now?
No.
No, you can't hear me better now. What about now?
No.
No. What about that?
No. And then check hit the cogwheel on the settings and make sure the right mic is selected.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm kind of cycling through them as we speak. Which one sounds better?
It sounded like nothing changed. Every time you said this one, it seemed like nothing changed at all.
Yeah, this system is new to me. I've never used this system before. I'm kind of spoiled on StreamYard, so I apologize.
But go ahead. We can hear you clear enough. Just we'll do our best in listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, while I try to speak up. I think that the question that the brother put forward to you, Shannon, is a good one. You shouldn't. And that will be my response. If the women that you like a certain archetype of black masculinity, then it behooves you to play to that. If that's the kind of women that turn your crank and they like a certain type of archetype of black man, it behooves you to be that kind of guy. That's the solution. That's what I would say to those guys.
How does that work out for us in the long run?
I don't think a lot of guys, and you specifically said young guys.
Yeah,
so,
that's.
I don't think a lot of young guys, by definition, having been there myself, you're not really thinking about what life is going to be like beyond 50, beyond 40, beyond 35. You're thinking about what's going to happen tonight, what's going to happen maybe next week. You're not really thinking about, and to be brutally frank, you're thinking about whether you can pleasure yourself in the company of a lady. So, those are real short-term type of things, and that's part of what being young is all about. So, you don't think about the law. And to be fair, there are brothers our age, Shannon, that don't think about what's going to happen next year or next week or, 10 years from now. It's a rare brother that maps things out, years in advance. Not at the risk of humble bragging. I do that. I map things out in blocks of years, 5 years, 10 years. But it's rare to find brothers in our age group, and that's to say the 40 through early 60s. We're right in the sweet spot, the 50s. It's rare to find a brother that has some sense of where he wants things to go 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So I don't know why that is, but that's just where we're at with it. What I would say to a brother like that is, if the kind of ladies that you like the A$AP Rocky type guys, Go with that. You know, Ron Jeremy, if I can use his name, Ron Jeremy,
The porn star?
yes.
Okay.
Ron Jeremy was famously asked. He's had sex on camera with thousands of women. Okay, documented. And he was asked in an interview. I think he was doing an interview with a lady, and he was asked, among the many questions he was asked. He was asked, what is your favorite sex position with a woman? He said, anyone that she says yes to. So, my point that I'm getting at is that guys operate in the mating arena based on the ground rules that the ladies set. So if the ladies in a particular milieu have set the ground rules that Tupac and A$AP Rocky is that kind of guy, and those are the type of ladies that you're interested in, it only makes sense to attempt to ape what they do when in Rome and all of that.
Yeah, I guess the biggest part that I'm having an issue with is that while I because some people they book sessions with me, they call me, they tell me about, I typically get men my age that's having problems with their wife, and they want my advice, or they want to hear what they need a solution for a particular thing. But occasionally I'll speak to the young guys, because I don't really speak to the young. I need like an intermediary. Like I'm 50, so if I want my message to land to try to save a 25-year-old guy, I need a 35-year-old guy to talk to him, because me going direct to the 25-year-old is somewhat difficult in my experience. But to get that 25-year-old,
why would it be difficult for you? I'm just curious. Why would it be difficult?
It's not difficult. My message isn't difficult. It's just that they probably listen to so many charlatans and niggas that don't have nothing going on, that's acting like, or got so much advice that they almost tune out to me. And a lot of this is from my fraternity. So I bring in new members every year. Every semester we bring in new neophytes, and we pledge and bringing new brothers in all the time. And I'm still actively involved in my chapter at Cal State Long Beach. So I talk to the bros and I speak to them. And then we have the Guide Right program, and then we have a Kappa League, and we have these different programs in my fraternity where we approach the young guys. But then I know I got a lot of other brothers that are like, and a lot of, to be honest with you, maybe I'm being a little too, I'm showing a little bit too much humility. They do tend to, attract to me over the other brothers in my age that look like they got one foot in the grave. But still, it's almost like, yo, but what does such and such say? And it's always a brother that's 15 years my senior. I mean, my junior. It's like, okay, so I need my message to be affirmed by maybe sometimes a 35-year-old for the 25-year-old who's half my age to really believe what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And so in this conversation here, if I was to say, well, if that's the kind of woman, and it would be easy. It would be really easy for me to say, oh yeah, well, if that's the kind of woman you want, then shit, you don't have to continue to do what you do, or be Future, be Offset, be that street nigga. If that's the kind of girl you want, and that kind of girl wants street niggas, then be a street nigga.
Right.
I guess my thing is, I don't want none of them to be street niggas. I want them to wear suits. I want them to level up. I want them to be smart. I want them to concentrate on becoming better versions of themselves. I want them to do it for themselves, but they still want to date. And so I'm fighting the influence of something that it almost seems like a losing battle, because Instagram is powerful, right. TikTok is powerful,
right?
These women that scantily clad women that's on Facebook is powerful, and I'm saying, brother, ignore her. You don't want to fuck with her. And this is exactly what Professor Letitia was saying. She was saying, you don't want to fuck with them kind of women. If that's what you want, I hear your message, Obsidian. You're saying if that's what you want, then cool. Letitia's saying, yeah, but you don't want them, because if you want the right kind of woman for long-term prosperity, ignore that chick. I can't get them to do that because that's who they want. So I'm saying, well, look, why don't you become better for this reason, that reason, this one, when all they thinking about is getting some pussy tonight. Like you said, they're thinking about tomorrow. And so I don't have really a rebuke to that, because I don't have any examples of prosperous young women who married the square.
Well,
They all seem to have gone to the thug.
Well, here's the big problem that several big problems that you're facing. And I'll hand off to the brother because I know he wants to jump in. Several big problems here. The first problem is becoming, and I'm going to use the phrase that our dearly departed brother and your crack brother used. Becoming a high value man is a multi-decade project. It's expensive. It's time consuming. It's filled with setbacks and obstacles and pitfalls. You're going to fail a lot. There's no guarantee that you're going to make it to the promised land. Many men start out and not many make it to the end. There's that. That's the first thing. What we're talking about, being a gentleman is not something that happens overnight. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work, much of it away from the spotlight of Black social media. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is mating success with successful brothers of the type we're talking about doesn't happen until later in life. You don't make the most money you ever make in your life as a man until your 40s and 50s anyway. So there's that.
Yeah.
The women that get with men like that are in a modern day Black American context are unique in that they too have a far reaching foresight. They can see beyond the immediate moment and see, I know that this word has kind of got a negative connotation in Black American, Black love circles pertaining to Black men, but I'm gonna use it anyway. They can see the potential in the man and project out, 10, 15, 20 years. And then they're essentially making a gamble. They're not making an investment. They're taking a gamble. Not many Black women seem to be inclined to do that today.
That's what Professor Letitia was saying.
Yeah. So the people that wind up becoming upper middle class, successful, well off, well adjusted, reasonably happy. These are people that started out relatively young and had a course and more or less stuck to it. And that's not something that is very much in vogue in Black American life today. And you brought up the social media end of it. Social media is particularly ruinous in this regard because nothing about it is about the long term. Nothing about it is about nothing about it is long term. Everything is immediate. Everything is short and immediate and brief. And the last thing I'll say is for the brothers that see, I guess the difference between you and me is, and I'm learning this the older I get, I'm not interested in convincing anybody. I'm just really not. Black American culture is a fighting culture. We like to fight. We like to argue. We like to, holler and scream at each other and, kind of beat each other over the head with clubs. I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in finding the brothers that want what I want. And I have accepted and made my peace with the fact that they're going to be few and far between. The Navy SEALs don't take everybody. Everybody can't be Force Recon Marines. Everybody can't be Air Force, air combat controller. A whole bunch of people go in and a very few number come out. Why should you be a brother that levels up? Like you said, we addressed this earlier this summer at the Mumia Obsidian Ali Experience, the production of the Black Man Spirit Meetup. Because you want to stand out. You want to be the elite, the best of the best. You want to make a clear distinction between you and I'm going to use the word you and all the other niggas over there. Give the ladies a real choice. And let's be clear. There are a lot of ladies that still want to choose up on the niggas. Good. Now they can say that they had a choice. They can no longer say that Black men ain't shit. No. The Black men that you choose ain't shit. That we have to make that distinction. I do not believe in convincing women. That's like I just got finished talking about the brothers. I'm not interested in convincing brothers to get with me. I'm not interested in debating them. I'm not going to do that. Same thing with women. If you had to convince a woman to be with you, she was never yours to begin with. I am not convincing any woman to be with me. What I will do, though, is I'll take every excuse off the table why she shouldn't diss me. You can't say I'm not well groomed. You can't say I'm not successful. You can't say I'm not ambitious. You can't say I'm not generous. You can't say I'm not a leader amongst men. You can't say that I can't get anything done. You can't say that I don't build nothing. You can't say that I don't provide and protect. You can't say I don't have a good reputation among people. All you can say is he ain't my cup of tea. And then let everybody else look at you like you got a third eye in the middle of your head.
That's a bar. All right. Well, let's wrap. I want to hear you guys' final thoughts. Professor Letitia, let's take it to you, and then Professor Cassius, and we'll round it off with Obsidian, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. Listen, the young guys today, you professors, listen. Some of these young guys out here are saying, "Look, man, it's easier for me just to bust a lick, you know, do a little crime here, I just got to get that quick cash there. The girls like it. I get sex easily. I'm in the club. They want to come in my section. You know, I got a table for the night. Meet me in Hollywood. I'm in LA, you know, so, you know, we up in Hollywood, pull up. Because being square, let them tell it, doesn't pay off. What do you tell the guy that's on the fence? Give him your last final word, Professor Letitia. The guy that's on the fence, whose father isn't there to tell him otherwise. He didn't have a father. He didn't grow up with a father. But he got homies in the hood. But something's telling him, you know, I don't know about that. You know, he's watching this show and he's listening to you, Professor Letitia. What do you tell him?
So I actually deal with millennial and Generation Z in my coaching business, right? Trying to help them to successfully date. I get that question a lot on every single platform. I get this question. I have to have this conversation with them. I typically take them through the Socratic method in asking them what they're looking for, what their goal is, what the outcome is going to be. Because I agree with Professor Ali that you can't save everybody. And in the end, after I walk you through, have this conversation with you, and you still are adamant that you want the girls who want to emulate the Cardi B's and the Summer Walkers, after you dissect their behaviors and how they are with their men, and you still want that woman, then I have to be like Pontius Pilate and just wash my hands of you. Because you can't force someone to want what they don't want. You can't force someone to want better for themselves, even though you know what's coming down the pipeline for them. Sometimes you have to let people see for themselves. So for those who my message resonates, those who I really speak to, those who I really talk to. But for the sake of this conversation, if the young men can hear me at the sound of my voice, do what you think is right for you in the moment. I agree with Professor Ali. If that's what you want, and your first thing is you want to be that dude, you want to be that guy, you want to be the man, you want to have the finest, baddest chick on your arm, and this is what you need to do to get her, then by all means, have at it. Have at it. But what you cannot do is come back and play victim. Because we see so many men crying about women now. We see men crying, women don't want to submit. Women are not feminine. Women doing this. Women don't want to do this. Women it's not women, it's the women, it's the woman you're choosing. So look at Summer Walker. What's her temperament like? How does she treat her man? Is she a Cardi B? Are they very respectful to their men?
No.
Let's be honest. Are they very respectful to their men? So what you're telling me is you want a woman who is going to disrespect you from time to time. You want a woman who doesn't mind getting loud and embarrassing you from time to time. You don't want a woman who is basically putting out there for every man to see. So what you're showing me, what you're telling me is You want a woman who is going to disrespect you, a woman who's not going to love you, a woman who's possibly just going to use you. And I'm not saying that these women are doing that, but I'm saying look at how they treat their men.
Oh, Summer Walker's doing that. Summer Walker is on record saying her granddaddy ain't shit, and she can't stand her father, and fuck both of them. And so, and that played over into her baby daddy issues with London on the Track. But go ahead.
Right. So the good girls are hiding. You're not going to see them out here. Why? Because their men don't want them out here. I mean, the best reference we have really is TV. They get to show you how the good woman is, the good woman, the good girls are. Michelle Obama, you know. Do you want to be Barack Obama and have a Michelle Obama by your side, or do you want to be Future and have several baby mamas? Do you want to be Offset and have a Cardi B by your side? Which man do you want to be? Which man do you want to emulate at some point in your life? Do you want to emulate Future, or do you want to emulate Barack Obama? Because if you want to emulate Barack Obama, you can't have a Cardi B by your side. You think Obama would have made it all the way to the White House if he had a Cardi B? Absolutely not. He would
That's
not.
a bar.
So think about the type of man you want to be, and that's the type of man you want to emulate, and understand the type of woman he has by his side. Then yes, that's the woman you need. So if you want to emulate Future, then go ahead by all means. Choose the type of woman that will like a Future. If you want to be a Barack Obama, you've got to go after the Michelle Obamas. And I'll end there.
Professor Cassius, what do you tell these young men? They're
Yeah,
confused.
so just a couple quick things. I know it's easy sometimes to use some of the extreme examples to help paint our pictures, but there's a lot of corporate women who have great jobs and highly educated that can't get enough of them thug dudes that love on them and ain't disrespectful and ain't talking crazy. And there's beautiful women everywhere, in the boardroom to the street corner. So I would tell this young man, be authentic in who you are. If you really, 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 really are a square dude that is intellectually forward, be that. You'll find you a beautiful woman in a boardroom that is educated and everything else, that's thang be thangin', and she just as fun. It may take you a little harder to find her, but she's there. If you really, really a street dude, and the idea of educating yourself and reading books and things of that nature, just you have no bandwidth for, then be that street dude. I would just tell them, don't be stupid. I know several niggas from the hood that graduated and or retired, if you will, from the streets and never got pinched up. They just wasn't out here being stupid and careless. Just because you in the streets don't mean you got to be stupid and careless, right? Don't mean you got to be dumb, right? Some of them think that you do, be flashy, like that's being stupid. We all know about the Frank Lucases and all
I was
of
about to say
those,
Frank Lucas.
but there's a whole bunch of other stories we don't know about because they wasn't out in front. You understand what I'm saying? They weren't stupid.
They didn't wear that chinchilla. They didn't wear that
Yeah,
chinchilla jacket to the goddamn fight.
they wasn't Nicky Barnes and trying to tease and tease and give the finger to the man. Like they were, no, I don't want to touch nothing. I just don't call me. Like I don't care. I want people to think I ain't got shit when they sitting on millions. So I would say be true to who you are, but understand that men also want a level of duality too. That lady in the street, freaking the sheets, right? Be able to go to a nice restaurant or a gown or a gala, but also be able to go to the picnic at home and know how to play spades and dominoes. And if y'all get into a high siding session, she can hold her own. You know what I'm saying? Like she can, she may not be great, but she can hold her own. You know what I'm saying? And so I would just tell these young fellas, I say, hey man, in the short term, I get it. But I think the women that you are desiring that want that bad boy, they're going to grow. And probably as they grow, they desire that bad boy less, which means you have to understand, unless you want a revolving door of young women, that as she grows and desires that bad boy less, you're going to have to grow away from some of your bad boy tendencies. And as long as you're good with that, then we can reference some of those situations that we don't know about, but some of us know in our private lives, where you had a Pookie who went from Pookie to Tyrone, and has now come from Tyrone to Ty. But he also has him a Cardi B that went from Cardi B to Cardalyn or whatever her real name would be. You know what I'm saying? And they worked well with each other, right? And so I would just say that part. Be understanding that yes, you may be desiring women that desire a little bit of rough edges now, but have the foresight to understand that in 10 or 15 years, most of those women, to Professor Letitia's point, kind of grow out of that and want a little bit more stability, a little bit more safety. And so if that's where you are, then you need to have the flexibility, the ability to grow. And as you grow with that woman and she desires that less, you also are less in those environments, right? And I think for most of us that have a checkered background, we would probably attest to that. Yo, when I was 22, you probably couldn't tell me nothing. I had a couple OGs trying to give me some game, but I wasn't trying to hear it. So I understand you probably ain't trying to hear me, but just listen to what I'm saying, and hopefully it clicks sooner rather than later. And that is that what you're doing now won't be sustainable for 20 and 30 years. You're going to have to evolve. And I'll use sports analogies and I'm done. You can't run the same offense for 20 years. You're going to have to evolve because eventually people are going to catch up to what you're doing. So you're going to have to change some things. So I would just tell the men to understand that where you are and what you desire to be now is okay. He eventually left the streets behind and they still got that super bad woman on their hip, i.e. Beyonce. So I would tell the men that way. Because he still has that edge, you know what I'm saying? But he's also very educated and articulative now, right? And so I think that to me, as I started with that and I'll end with that, I think to me, that type of man will be able to walk in any room and probably get any woman he wants if he's that type of man. Has a little bit of a checkered past, some human experience, some street smart, some common sense, but he also had enough intellect to know that that's not sustainable. I can't retire from that. I can't pass that on to my kids. So let me grow away from that. Similarly, again, ASAP Rocky was one of those. He ain't in that street no more. He's a very smart guy. Same thing with Jay-Z and some of the other ones. So I would reference those and say, hey, be these type of guys. This is where you are in your young 20s. Then you need to be where they are when they're 30 and 35, right? And move in that direction at your own pace. So that's what I would offer those guys. Say, hey, give the good examples of the men that started in those checkered paths, that started in the streets, and then worked their way out of it. Because there are some of those examples. And everybody knows Jay-Z, and I think he's one of those greater examples of that. Started in the streets, checkered paths, and then educated himself and pulled himself out of that because he knew that life wasn't sustainable. So that's kind of how I would probably have that conversation.
All right. And Professor Obsidian, I got two questions for you. Thomas Thompson sent a super chat and he said, what's the third book going to be called?
Well, I take it he's talking about the third book I'm currently writing right now. The third book, I have a title for it, but I don't want to say what it is. Only a very small group of people know exactly what the title of the book is, but including Kevin himself. The third book's going to be about Kevin. So, and I have it all mapped out, and I got about a dozen chapters already in, and I'm currently writing, and God willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll be done by the end of the year, and edited up and all the rest of it, and prepped and ready to roll out in time for St. Kevin's Day, March 13th, 2023.
That's what's up.
The book is, but it's about Kevin.
All right, cool. Great.
Even Nip is a good example. Nipsey Hussle, LA's finest. He's another great example. Pulling himself away from that environment. I mean, things caught up to him, but he was literally trying to pull himself away from that environment.
Professor Obsidian, what would you say to that? Give us your final thoughts. What would you say to the young man that's saying, look, man, I don't really see the upside of leveling up, as they say, when, it's so fun to be where I'm at down here with all these women that's chasing after me. What do you say to that guy?
I say you're right.
Obsidian's like, yeah, go fuck with him. That's what you right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, you've been in the military. You're a military man. I was raised by several generations of military men, in my case, Marines. My understanding is that recruiters don't really do a whole lot of convincing. You might answer a question or two, but they're really looking for people who want to join. You're not really looking to convince people who don't really want to join. You know, it's a volunteers only. If you don't want to be here, as a matter of fact, I can't speak to Army culture, but I know about Marine culture because my dad and my granddad were Marines. And they would tell me quite often, they want you to quit. They're looking for a reason for you to quit. They really want people that really want to be here.
Many are called.
Yeah.
Few
So
are
if a guy
chosen.
said, you know, why bother because the ladies that I like ain't into that, I would say, yeah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. Why put yourself through that trouble? I mean, me doing what it is that I do has, surprisingly enough, I'm not gonna say it has nothing to do with women. That wouldn't be true, but not as much as people would think. It's a very egocentric thing. I just like being the kid.
Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for being here for another episode of Husband School. I hope you learned something. But I'd say to the guy, and this is what I told him, you don't know what you want. You have no idea. This conversation is too soon. You're 22 years old. You're still in school. You're having this conversation. You don't know what you think you want today. You're not going to want 10 years from now, heaven forbid, 20 years from now when you're 42. What you think you're looking for now, you ain't going to want when you're 32 or 42. So you don't even know what you want right now. So to make it seem as if these hot chicks and these little fast ass girls that you swiping left and right on these dating apps and on Instagram, and you liking and commenting on all these little silly photos with the fancy angles and a little bit of cleavage out, you have no idea what you think you want. You haven't even woke up yet. You know, we talk about the frontal lobe being developed at the age 25. I remember I was 27 years old when I quote unquote woke up. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was a weird feeling. It was 1999. That's when I ran out and bought me a brand new Lexus GS 300 triple black. And that's when I realized, that's when I woke up. Before that, I thought I was woke, but I wasn't really. So what you think you want now, you don't know. So for those that are asking, why should you level up? The benefits are overwhelmingly to your advantage if you do that now, because by the time you do know what you want, you're going to wish that you were there instead of where you are asking about so you can get some pussy today. I hope you guys learned something. Remember, the serpent attacked relationships as his very first attack in the book of Genesis. Don't just plan your wedding, plan your entire marriage. And to be married isn't enough. Fellas, you have to be a husband. Please like, share. Please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys. And we'll see you same time next week at another episode of Husband School. Good show. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, indeed. Thank y'all for pulling up, Letitia and Professor.
Stuck in the past watching videos of us. I have been trying to get rid of your stuff, but voices in my head are telling me to stop. It's all I have left, all I have of you. Thought I was more than a body to hold, baby. I wanted you, wanted us to be something more. I was so sure, but let my guard down for you. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? I gave you my heart and you tore it apart. Don't know why you had to hurt me like that. Cause now I'm messed up, drinking non-stop, just trying to forget you and everything we said. But I can't seem to get these thoughts out of my head. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? Love me like that. Oh, staying inside in my bed all day long, listening to sad songs and feeling so low, thinking about you and where we went wrong. 'Cause I wanna know why you left was so sure. I let my guard down for you. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? I gave you my heart and you tore it apart. Don't know why you had to hurt me like that. Cause now I'm messed up, drinking non-stop, just trying to forget you and everything we said. But I can't seem to get these thoughts out of my head. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? Love me like that. Body to hold, baby. I wanted you, wanted us to be something more. I was so sure, let my guard down for you. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? I gave you my heart and you tore it apart. Don't know why you had to hurt me like that. Cause now I'm messed up, drinking non-stop, just trying to forget you and everything we said. But I can't seem to get these thoughts out of my head.